So you want to grow your hair faster. So do I, desperately, but not because of what you may think. A little bit of context. 15 weeks ago, I went into the salon and a bunch of pieces in my top layer completely burned off. And to make matters worse, the professional hairdresser specifically said that I was going to go bald twice. That haunted me for weeks. I just can't wait for the broken pieces to grow enough so that they can blend with the rest of the hair. Feel free to catch up and watch previous videos. I choose to focus on all the positive that's come out of this situation. So from my perspective, there's 3 things I needed to do to support hair growth moving forward. The first one is a healthy, nourished, pampered scalp, because like I keep saying, healthy scalp is fertile soil for new, healthy, thicker hair. The second thing is to work on the hair's integrity, elasticity, and strength. It needs to be strong, but it still needs to have some elasticity for it not to feel like straw. But you want to get rid of that over bleached, damaged bubble gum. One of you guys described it so amazingly well. It's very similar to wet cotton. I just thought that was a brilliant, very accurate description. You don't want it to feel like bubblegum or wet cotton because, well, that would eventually cause the hair to snap. And the third thing is to prevent or let's say get rid of split ends. Why? Because those eventually cause breakage. When you tackle all these 3 things combined, that will result in longer, healthier hair. So promoting and supporting growth from the roots, from the scalp, and then retaining that length. Think about it. If this is not growing at a decent speed, normal speed, it will take a longer time to translate into an overall longer hair. But if this is growing because you're pampering the scalp and doing a bunch of treatments there, if you have split ends or fragile hair, that will translate into breakage and visually shorter hair. So let's talk about what I've been doing to my scalp to promote a faster hair growth. So I've been doing a bunch of things. The first thing is I've gone to a hair clinic, which are usually more notorious for hair transplants, but they also do scalp therapy, which in my case is mesotherapy, and they inject into my scalp every 2 weeks a mix of different amino acids and vitamins that nourish the scalp. I don't find it painful at all. I've gone there because I have family and friends who have gone there and had amazing results. So I'm still in treatment, but the doctor at the clinic, Dr. Forza, actually told me that the biggest strength of the treatment is that the new hair will grow much thicker. The other thing I'm doing to the scalp is using minoxidil 2%. I think in the US this is called Rogaine. This is over the counter. You use 2% for women and 5% for men. 3 lines, 1 here and 1 here, and then just with the tips of the fingers massaging the scalp as long as you can. I think everybody knows that minoxidil works. It stimulates hair growth because it also stimulates blood flow. I don't find it uncomfortable at all. Ideally, you need to use it twice a day. It needs to be on the hair at least 4 hours for it to do something before you can shampoo it off. However, to be absolutely honest, I've only been doing it before going to bed just because I don't like the way my hair looks at the roots, especially because my breakage is right here. It just doesn't look great. So many times I've chosen to do this in the evening. There's a bunch of studies that show that you can have similar results with rosemary oil and using it very similarly to minoxidil. If you want to go through a more natural path, you can definitely try that. I've also tried adding that to the shampoo. That's another way of using rosemary oil. It's different, but it feels kind of similar in the sense that it increases blood flow in the scalp. So I usually do rosemary oil in the mornings because it doesn't look that nasty, and then in the evenings I use the minoxidil 2%. Then when I shampoo, I use this scalp massager. This one is by the brand Kuni. It looks so spiky, but it's all silicone. and I promise, very gentle to the scalp. It's actually very relaxing because you can do it like in your temples, you know. I also feel it gets my scalp cleaner, and yet it's super gentle, so I really like that. The other thing I've been using is this multi-peptide serum by The Ordinary, which I guess in a way it has the same concept as the mesotherapy, but of course being a serum and not something that's injected into the hair, it works, you know, on the surface of the scalp. It's also aiming to contribute to support hair growth, promises much thicker, denser, fuller and healthier looking hair. I usually apply it on my scalp after I wash my hair, just a few drops, and it doesn't make my hair look nasty. You always want to aim at the scalp and not the hair. This multi-peptide serum was actually recommended by a dermatologist that has a YouTube channel, and he said he had amazing results. This can be used by any gender, so that's great. By the way, the other day I watched an interview about the founders of The Ordinary. That's like, if you haven't, go watch it. Made my jaw drop during the entire interview. It was like I couldn't stop listening. Another thing I've been doing is using a shampoo that has nettle and panthenol. So you may or may not be able to get this exact one, but at least focus on these ingredients. Nettle, the plant, you know, gives you that tingling sensation. Once again, that tingling is going to promote the blood flow in the scalp, will contribute to healthy hair growth. And then it also contains panthenol, well-known antioxidant. It kind of helps prevent premature aging of the hair. I see it as skincare for my hair in a way, and lately I've discovered this gem to actually have the scalp clean, especially when it comes to product buildup. One shampoo that tends to build up, so I do use it, but maybe once a month, is Olaplex number 4. I use it only when I do the full Olaplex routine. I reserve it for that, and it's a very, very gentle shampoo. The problem is that it very easily builds up on my scalp, at least, so I don't use it very frequently, but I digress. When it comes to clarifying the hair, I do that about once a month. And this new, but it's not new, but it's new to me, K18 Peptide Prep Detox shampoo contains charcoal, and it does really help remove buildup and promotes a healthy scalp without it being too harsh on the hair, which I really liked. Not only does it have charcoal, it has other skincare inspired ingredients, as they describe it, that break down dirt, oils, metals, and it's also a great companion for the K18 Biomimetic Leave-In Hair Mask, which helps with that second aspect of hair growth, strengthening the hair. So I've mentioned this before. In my case, after what happened to me with the bleach incident, having this mask at home already at such a critical time really made a difference, and I'm convinced it saved the rest of my hair. This product changes your hair in 4 minutes. It makes it stronger, and it works filling in the gaps that are missing on a molecular level. Once the 4 minutes go by, you can rinse it because the magic is done, or you can just leave it in your hair. Sometimes my hair needs additional moisturizing afterwards, sometimes it doesn't. If I'm in a hurry, honestly, this is all I do. It's also so compact and perfect for traveling. You don't need a lot, so a little bottle does last. More often than not, I use 1 or 2 pumps. You need to do 6 consecutive washes every time you've had a chemical service. So let's say you bleach or dye your hair, you need to use this for the next 6 consecutive washes. But honestly, at least in my experience, I've seen a difference in the very first use. And then for maintenance purposes, you can just use this, you know, once a month, something like that. It really depends on how damaged your hair is and how frequently you use heat tools, any chemicals on your hair that may be damaging it. So before this happened to me at the salon, the video where I tried it out for the first time, I was not very impressed by the price and the results, because my hair was not in such a desperate need for a true deep repairing. I had been using Olaplex, I had been pampering it like constantly and testing out hundreds of hair care masks here on this channel by Kerastase, Orbe. You know, I definitely used heat a lot more than I do now back then. So that only justifies a product like this. And I did also have my hair highlighted back then every 8 weeks approximately. And that also is something K18 can help you with. But if the price of this product is painful for you, you may not bring yourself to justify the purchase unless you're in a very critical situation. But if you do anything to your hair other than air drying it, I think at least have one of these in the closet and use it every once in a while for maintenance and have it there as a secret weapon. If something as terrible as what happened to me happens to you, yeah, that's what I would do, because it is super expensive and we all know that. But it's also quite a minimalistic brand. You definitely do not need that many steps in the full routine, which I will be testing out very soon, the full entire routine, so stay tuned for that. If you can, please subscribe, because I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. So the other thing I've used to strengthen the hair and to get rid of that wet cotton texture of the over bleached damaged hair is these acidic bonding concentrate by Redken. Again, another very expensive product, but it does work, and it works on the very first use. You will notice a difference only if your hair has been extremely damaged. This acidic bonding concentrate intensive treatment is supposed to be a pre-shampoo, but I have a feeling this is actually a great companion for after K18 treatment. And that is something I'm also going to be testing out very soon. Anything that has a low pH and hence is very, very acid is going to contribute to the cuticle closing. But if you use this before K18, as many of you guys pointed out in the comments, it's not going to go well, because you want that cuticle to be a little bit open, let's say receptive to the wonders of the leave-in mask. So you either not use it in combination with K18 or you use it afterwards. And then yes, you want to close the cuticle. And mind you, even after hydrating hair mask that may come after the K18 treatment, a nice way to finish the process. Or you can use it on other days in which you're not using K18. Those are two very valid ways to try it out, if you ask me. There's also a shampoo and conditioner that I want to test out that has the exact same pH and does the exact same thing, very similar ingredients, so that may be a good alternative as well, especially the conditioner after the K18 mask. So there's two more things I've been using as a pre-shampoo. The first one is good old virgin cold pressed coconut oil. This is perfect because it makes the shampooing process also a lot gentler on the hair's length and doesn't strip it as much. You really want the shampoo to focus on the roots and not so much on the mid-lengths and ends. So this really helps you with that. It helps me so much with frizz control, and when my hair was super bleached to the point of break off, coconut oil was actually the one product I thought right away, this is a safe product. Like, it's not going to harm my hair and it's going to give me some time to think about what else I want to do to rescue the hair. It's such a noble ingredient, and it also helps repair the lipid barrier of the hair fiber. Also, it's so dense. You buy one of these, it lasts for years. The other thing I do to prevent breakage, I no longer use bleach on my hair. I hope I never ever will. I only touch up my roots using hair color, high lift hair color, which is a lot less damaging. And even though I'm not quite there yet with the formulation, I am looking to test out a new formula very soon that I think is going to be so close to highlighted hair that is going to make me look a lot more like I used to. And when I do, I spray the roots first with the K18 Mist. I have a full video talking about how I did the root touch-up using this mist. And when your hair has broken off and you need to touch up your roots, it definitely gives you peace of mind in combination with high lift color. And both things, I think, have done a lot to help me stay blonde, which is what I wanted, and still be on a healthy hair journey. So then there's a lot of breakage that can happen during the night. So the first thing I do is always sleep with a protective hairstyle. That is usually a braid, a very loose braid. And first I applied the Kerastase Cica Nuit a little bit, just a little bit. It does really help. It has hyaluronic acid and edelweiss. The other thing I do, and if you are a subscriber, you've heard me rave about this product over and over again, and that is a silk pillowcase. Absolutely game-changing. I use exclusively little silk pillowcases. I love them, and I've worked with them multiple times because they have exquisite products. And this is not sponsored at all. A silk pillowcase is like very hard to come back from that. You will miss it every time you sleep in a hotel room that doesn't have a little silk pillowcase. I promise you, at least that happens to me. Many times I carry one with me in my suitcase when I travel. But most importantly, it's going to prevent hair breakage. Same goes for their scrunchies. 9 out of 10 times I will only use a silk scrunchie. Now let's talk about split ends, and let's be real about this. Using products such as Olaplex and K18 will make your hair stronger and less prone to split ends. They will not revert or 100% prevent them. You may use the best products in the world, but you will eventually have split ends, and you definitely don't want those if you want to prevent breakage and hence promote length retention for that dreamy long hair you are aiming for. So the only thing you can do about those split ends that will truly 100% really get rid of them, two things. I use these scissors and I get rid of the tiniest amount about once a month. The other thing is, and I've mentioned this in a short video, but I don't really like this company, but the product does work. Split Ender Pro 2. So this product helps you trim just the tiniest amount of your ends. It will trim split ends and not split ends. And you will see that because you're going to see right here in this window every last residue of what it took off. In my experience, it's a safe product. It's an effective product. It does what it promises, as long as the blades inside are correctly sharpened. That's really important when it comes to removing split ends. Same for the scissors. They need to be correctly sharpened. I wish I didn't like the product because actually Alavera, I think was the company, was selling these on their Amazon official shop, and one of you guys mentioned they were using screenshots of one of my videos using it without my permission. I found that a little bit strange, shady. After I created that video, they actually removed it. But anyways, I still love their product and I want to be fair and objective, even though I did not love the way they proceeded with me personally. It automates the dusting technique that you trim them one by one. I've done that in the past, but yeah, this makes it a lot easier. Although, once again, this will trim not only the split ends. Some people think this is kind of magical and will detect exclusively those split ends and get rid of those. And then they are in shock when they check in the window and they see perfectly fine microscopic parts of their hair. It cannot tell one from the other. It would be very cool if it did, but it doesn't. You need to use very small pieces of hair or it will pull. You have to use it correctly and you have to maintain it in good condition, especially if you're a hairdresser, because of course the blades, if you give them more use, they're going to need sharpening more often. There are tons of products designed for split ends that will only temporarily make a cosmetic sealing so that the ends look healthier, but it's just going to be temporary. It's not a definitive solution, and that's not going to prevent the breakage, which is exactly why we don't want those split ends in the first place. I will definitely be updating you guys on the results of this routine to speed up the hair growth. Let's measure how much my hair has grown, because it's so obvious, because there's a difference between the roots and the area that was highlighted. I would say I started doing this crazy routine about 2 to 3 weeks after the hair disaster happened. So around 12 weeks ago. Let's see how much my hair has grown. I think about 5 centimeters. So 1.3 centimeters per month, the average, which I think is 1 centimeter. So at the hair clinic, they told me that once I've done the mesotherapy for a full 5 months, I'm going to start noticing, like really noticing the results and how it's impacting hair growth. So I'm going to keep updating you guys, and we'll see if it just impacts the quality of the hair that grows. That is still very good news for me, or if it's also going to impact the rate at which it grows. We'll see. That's why I'm documenting everything. Stay tuned. Please subscribe for more, and thank you for your support if you decide to shop any of my links. I really appreciate that, and everything is always listed in the description box of all of my videos. Please do let me know in the comments below what you do. I've heard rice water really helps, and I am planning to use my Briogeo protein treatment soon as well, kind of to add to all these efforts. But do share your tips. What works for you? What has been your experience and your results? I always love to read your comments. I've learned so much over the years from all of you. Thank you so much for being here and for putting up with me, and I will catch up with you all again on my next one.